Of Jim's interview yesterday, the Shipping Minister Mike Penning MP made his journey from Westminster to Milford Haven as the future of our Coastguard Station remains up in the air. Here's our exclusive interview with the Minister.
Minister, welcome to Radio Pembrokeshire. Have you ever been to Pembrokeshire before?
No, I've never been here before, and what a beautiful day. If the weather's like this every day, I'm surprised more people don't come. And I know there's a huge tourist industry here as well as the shipping industry that's here, but it's beautiful here today, and I've come to listen.
You've had a boat trip this morning, I believe. Were you impressed?
I was very impressed, and I'm very interested to do with the plans going forward. The one thing I've said to the Port Authority here, though, is make sure the local community are with you. I mean, this is a very important port to the nation, but it's also important to the community, and it's very impressed.
Now, let's make one point clear. The situation with the coastguards hasn't just happened since the new coalition government has come to power. We at Radio Pembrokeshire knew about this proposal at least 18 months ago. It's nothing new, is it?
No, the proposals were sitting on my desk when I arrived as a shipping minister, nearly 10 months ago, and they've been fobbed off for a lot longer than 18 months. I mean, these decisions were not being done at all. But what we need to do is we've put the proposals forward, but they're not a done deal. We're consulting, a genuine consultation, and what we come out at the end of it, I hope, is it will be a Coast Guard for the 21st century, but no decisions have been made.
So it's not in tablets of stone?
Certainly not in tablets of stone. That's why I've done an extension to the consultation, so that people feel that we are listening. I will publish all of the consultations online at the end of the process, but there is no done deal. I'm still listening, but we had to start with somewhere. And we've united everybody around the country now to talk about the future of the Coast Guard, which is what we need to do.
It's been said with the Milford Haven waterway now acknowledged as a major energy capital of the world. Do you think that the proposed action as it stands is a little reckless?
No, I don't think it's reckless, but what we need to do is to look at the fact that I have a national emergency service without any national resilience. So you can call it a national service, but it doesn't actually exist. Here, they're twinned with Swansea, and that doesn't always work, because if this part of the world, if comms go down, they go down. So we need a national service as to where the bases are for the centres, not for the frontline services, but for the centres, is what we're looking at.
Can you explain why Swansea was selected as the main station over Milford, and it said will only give daytime cover?
The truth of the matter is, if you're looking at cover, most of it is needed during the day. There will be whole-time stations as well, and there will be part-time stations. But as I say, we had to start with somewhere, and then the proposals that were already on the desk was sitting in Swansea to be the base and Milford to close. That decision has not been made. That was the start of the consultation, and then we'll look as to how the representations for it. And I encourage people to just look at what the service could look like here in Milford, but look around the country as to what the Coast Guard emergency service could look like.
The Milford Haven waterway is such a diverse amount of activity, apart from the commercial traffic. Many of our listeners are concerned about the local knowledge connection, say the coastal path, the bays and inlets, beaches with similar names, locations with Welsh-sounding names, the masses of leisure craft which use the Milford Haven waterways and the Pembrokeshire coast waters. It's not very convincing that a coastguard in the south of England is going to be able to cope with that, considering that local coastguards could be dealing with more than one incident at a time.
I agree with you that local knowledge is really important, but you have to also remember that if this Coast Guard communications go down, there is no cover anywhere else that has that sort of knowledge. So how do we spread that knowledge while at the same time protecting the community? And that's the sort of resilience I'm looking for.
I know that the technology is advanced, but has risk assessment been undertaken to consider the implications of a communication breakdown?
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why we're so worried, that the risk assessments show that we don't have national resilience, and we need to do that. And as going forward, the risk assessments are being made as to how we actually make sure the frontline services get a better service. You know, the volunteers, there are over 3,000 volunteers I have around the country that do the work. So these are the coordination centres we're talking about, not the frontline services, which is crucial that people understand.
Now, finally, Minister, and we're very grateful to you giving your time this morning. I know you're very busy. You've obviously seen and heard about the protests. Now, the Prime Minister, David Cameron, is continually saying, we will want to listen to the people. Many here in Pembrokeshire are now writing to the Commons Transport Select Committee with lots of issues over the coastguards. Will you be listening?
That's why I'm here to listen. No decision has been made. We will consult as we go forward. But I encourage people to do what it says on the tin. Consult, be part of the consultation.
Thank you for giving your time to Radio Pembrokeshire this morning, Minister.
You're very welcome.
Radio Pembrokeshire's Jim Hughes in discussion with the Shipping Minister Mike Penning MP as the future of our Coastguard in Milford remains up in the air.